Hello you, welcome to Geekism and welcome back to Jurassic World Evolution, where we're building a Canadian Jurassic Park. What that really means, I don't know. We're building it on the Canada map and we're going for a bit of an Alpine-y look. Going through the menu here because I wanted to make sure that the dino requirement was turned off. Because somebody mentioned you can just turn it off and then you can use your own trees and stuff. That really suits me, to be honest with you. So I do like having the animal welfare turned on in these kind of games, usually, even if I'm playing in sandbox, because it kind of like makes the build mean a little something more. It gives you an idea of what to do, how big to build it. You know, you could just throw these into cages that are 3 foot long, and it's nice to let them know that they have enough space and what have you. You can still go in and see all that information, though. It's just they don't moan if it isn't hit. So what I did then was go take it all the way out. For those of you who didn't see the last episode, by the way, it's because the terrain brushes that you use to fill in the percentages of their welfare, like ground brush, water, cover, that kind of thing. Look at the babies, by the way. They're all tropical. It automatically does tropical, and we're building this in a sort of taiga style biome, a northern biome. We want to use pines and oaks and maples and that kind of thing. So I ummed and ahed about whether or not to turn this off, and I thought, no, do you know what? It's a sandbox mode, and this is the kind of stuff I enjoy doing in these kind of games. This is the kind of stuff that I'm good at. I don't know about dinosaurs. You can't come to me to tell you the differences between a Lepidopterus and a Super Rex, I don't know, but I can make things look pretty, so that's going to be the focus moving forward. So we turned off the stuff there, and there we're going to go back in, and it's going to look a little bit bare compared to what it did look like, but I think for me personally that's a little bit more realistic, especially for dinosaur habitat, just like those real dinosaur habitats. But I feel like they would need a lot of space to get around. They would need a lot of open space. So whilst we do go in and add a lot of foliage, it isn't quite as heavy brush as the in-game one would have it create, and I think it looks pretty good, and it means you get a lot more nicer views of the dinos pottering about whilst you're in the park, and that to me is a nice sort of bonus of using this sort of stuff. So here they go. You can see them pottering around there with the pines behind them. Much more what I kind of wanted the place to look like originally, and I'm happy to do it. And here you can see the babies stomping about as well. Very, very cute. Okay, moving on then to a build. I'm trying to do like a bit of habitat and then a bit of building in each episode. We'll see how long that lasts and how long I'm able to do that for, but that's what I'm trying to do here. I wanted to build a welcome center, innovation center, science center, whatever you want to call it. I don't know. I drew the path here with a circle, just with a view for there to be a building here that's like a large building that we can have a bit of a little bit of a weenie, I guess. And I would normally just say that word and move along in a Planet Coaster video, but I think here it's probably worth pointing out what a weenie is, because there are going to be Jurassic World fans who maybe don't know. So a weenie was a term coined by Walt Disney, and it's based on a dog treat of the period, sort of a dog sausage type thing that you can give them, called weenies. And the idea is it's something that draws the eye or draws people through a theme park to a larger area. And if you look at something like Magic Kingdom, the original sort of theme park, you see weenies throughout. Obviously the big castle in the middle, and then if you go one way there's Space Mountain, if you go another way there's Splash Mountain or Big Thunder Mountain, all of the mountains. And even things like the Haunted Mansion or whatever sat up a little way from the main area. That sort of drawing your eye up to a large building, that's known in the theme park industry as a weenie, and that's kind of what I wanted to create here. The Innovation Center in the original Jurassic Park movie is 100% a weenie, even though it's obviously never called that. That sort of big straw structure, and the one in the game is really good. It does look like the one from the movie, and it is quite fun. But I wanted to build my own one and try and kind of keep it towards that Alpine build as well. It's difficult with something so grand like this to kind of keep that log cabin vibe to it. So we're mostly this is more of a sort of technological looking build with the big glass there, but we still try and get some wood into it, some stone into it, and try to keep the entrance of the area at least having that sort of peak peaked entrance, the gable entrance there. It's a lot of fun just to look through the pieces. I'll be honest with you, that's mostly what I'm doing in the game right now, is I'm still just flicking through the menus, randomly grabbing stuff, randomly throwing down. See, we've got a curved wall there, and then I found this curved window, and I was like, well, that's even better, because this would be a large sort of conservatory area, large sort of atrium style area. I wanted to put that in. And we do play around with those that awesome like parallax feature of the windows. It looks really good on like an individual square window, but when you do stuff like this, it starts to go a bit funky. So we are going to use the blinds here, which is fine. It would be nice to see a real glass set, as in actual see-through. There's a few glass sets in the game, and they're all sort of this sort of fake. Either this one here where you can put the parallax images behind it, or it's that sort of like mirror sheen window. Frontier games, you always have to beg and plead for glass, and eventually they add it. It happened with the original Planet Coaster, it happened with Planet Zoo, it's happened with Planet Coaster 2, I think. I don't think we had any glass originally, and now we do, or we had some gas and now we have more. For some reason, it's one of those things that they make us wait for it. So you may well see a real glass set eventually. Perhaps then we'll see some more interior stuff, and then we can start doing some actual interiors. But at the minute, we kind of fake it with these awesome parallax windows, which are great, by the way. I think they are really, really neat and a very elegant solution to the problem of either having mirrors instead of windows, or having to build an interior for every little single thing. I would love to see them come across to the other games in the series, other games by the developer, I should say. It's obviously not a part of this series, although they slowly look how cool that piece is with the fossils, by the way. You can't really see it in the end build, but it covers that doorway up lovely. We're slowly building towards parity in these games for Frontier, in that they all sort of work the same, and that's fine by me, because it's nice to be able to jump back and forth. And today I'm going to build a roller coaster, today I'm going to build a T-Rex habitat, or what have you. So so this just becomes the welcome centre in the end. You'll see here, me and my partner had to spend a good 5 minutes deciding whether it was ER or RE for Canada. I'm not sure we're 100% sure, so I think it's ER if you're in the States, and it's definitely RE in the UK. Canada's kind of sometimes uses the Americanism, sometimes uses the British term, so we think that's right. That's what we're going with. Happy enough with the build. Use this copper roof, which is the first time using it. I think it's nice, but again, we use that sort of wood trim across it to kind of tie it in with the other spaces. Wasn't originally too sure what to do with the roof here, taking it up to a peak, but I didn't want to take too much away from this awesome sort of dome structure we've made here with the glass and wooden pieces. So I decided for, in the end, a flat roof, but make it look as if it was not flat out of necessity or cost, more flat because we can make a pretty little diorama here using the pterodactyl statue. I say pterodactyl, I don't know, that's the one flying one I can name. It might be a different one, I don't know. Happy with those statues. I think it's a neat idea that they're locked behind the gameplay, but yeah, it'd be nice to have a few more options. Maybe we'll have to really start to work through the campaign to make that happen. And then we found that torch, and I thought that would be a really good idea to have that on the top as sort of like an eternal flame kind of thing. Then I found these pieces that I think are to go with the sort of in-game innovation center. I really liked them and had a good little play around with them. In the end, I felt like it was too much work to go in and retrofit them into this space, but I do want to use those. I just think they look a really interesting looking big pieces that you can go in and then add the foliage to. So I'm thinking maybe we might do like a hotel build, and that can be part of the hotel plaza. I think that'd be quite fun. Adding in some fences here. Quite like how the fences work in this game. It's just a fence post, one fence post on the fence, and then the rotation point is from the other way, so you can sort of go around a curve like this fairly quickly. This is tricky because we're on not only a curve, we're also on a height variation as well, which obviously is very fun to look at and sort of adds a nice bit of variation to the place, but it does make it a little tricky to add in fences like that. I mean, ideally you'd love to see a spline based tool for these kind of things, but beggars can't be choosers, I suppose. And then finally we have a little foundation fountain at the front. I really wanted to get the Mr. DNA in here somewhere, and I feel like this outside the welcome center is a perfect spot for it, so we add that there. And then we have a bit of a plaza area that we have it with benches. It took me a while to find a bench I was happy with. That looks a little too interior for me. Here, you'll see this occasionally. It's just me going through menu things I've not seen before and going, oh, what does that look like? But eventually we settle on some chairs and then a little bit of foliage. I realised that I put water down there and changed it. I'd love a real good dirt texture. I don't really have it in this biome. The dirt texture is quite sandy. So we are going to use the grass texture here, but we heavily foliage it so you can't really see underneath. We have the planter pieces, obviously, but a dirt paint would go a long way here. And there's our welcome centre. Happy with the results of this one. It's sort of grandiose without being too big. Again, I always kind of struggle with scale in these games. Sometimes it's too big, sometimes it's too small. I'm actually kind of happy with how this turned out. It's just nice that people go in and out of it and sit on these benches outside as well. Happy with how it's come out altogether. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you've enjoyed it. Until the next one, be good.